Well, there have been a lot of upsetting things coming out about Twitch over the past week with the information leak which happened on Monday of this week. Lots of things have come out. Some of them can be considered funny. Some of them are really not. They're really sad that over the course of the many years of information that we have that is included through anonymous surveys and things like that, that they are still a problem in today's infrastructure at Twitch. So one of the most disappointing things I'm going to start off talking about with the leaks that have come out and come forward is that, man, the golden Kappa isn't real. It's not. It doesn't really exist in the way that we think it is, right? We thought that the golden Kappa was given randomly to users, right? You got it, you know, in 24 hours it was given to someone else. Incorrect. That is not how it works. The golden Kappa, unfortunately, is only for whitelisted users. So if you are not a whitelisted user, you will never get the golden Kappa because you're not on that list. It'll never be given to you. So how it works is on that whitelisted list that they have, I don't know how many names are on the list. There's quite a lot, I assume, but you are given it, right? Say I'm given the golden Kappa. I have it for 24 hours. I go into all people's chats and I'm like, boom, bang, here you go. Look at this golden Kappa everywhere. And then after 24 hours, I decide who to give it to on that 24 hour or on that whitelist that exists, right? Which means when they created the golden Kappa, and they have used it this way before, that it was basically just a PR move, a way to drum up excitement, a way to cover stories that have been unleashed when everyone had the golden Kappa one day, meaning that it was all a lie, just like the cake. Which is, you know, it sucks, right? I actually saw some comments about people who have said, I've checked every day to see if I had it, and now I know that I wasted my time. Which, I mean, yeah, like, you did, you checked every day, it was a little few seconds of checking, but the idea that you could have been doing this for years and there was never a chance you would ever get it is very disappointing, and kind of does throw a big shade on the golden Kappa, because it was just a fake idea, a fake thing that people thought that they could get one day, and it will never come. Unfortunately, there was supposedly a little bit of code that said that there was some randomness to it, but nobody could find the code that was connected to that showed that randomness. So unfortunately, it probably never worked like we thought. Now, something that is a little bit more concerning about the source code being leaked for Twitch until its inception, and it's not really something that I thought about until I saw a post about it on Reddit. And that was that if their entire source code was leaked and that Twitch has no incentive for people to report bugs, as a lot of companies do have incentives that when you report these bugs you are paid, they fix it, and that is good. Now that bug doesn't exist, and it allows for like the goodwill of people to find things and have them be fixed for the site so that they don't get targeted through those bugs that exist. But Twitch doesn't have anything like that, which means that it's highly likely in the coming months, because they aren't aware of these bugs that exist, that all the people who are very good with coding and very understand how these bugs can how these things can be manipulated and found out by having the source code, that there will be a lot of abuses that will come forward through this. Maybe it won't be immediate, like I said, over the coming months. It actually could be an entire year. They could wait, right, until they know how to use it to their full extent, and then they will find a way to disrupt Twitch in probably a very negative way, right? We already have hotspot raids and hate raids and all that stuff that exists today, and that they still struggle to do and deal with. And it will probably always be a problem. But since there are bad actors having access to this code, there is going to be a lot of problems in the future, which is a little scary to think about. It's one thing to try to circumvent bans as you create counts and stuff like that, and things of the like, but it's a lot more difficult when you are no longer circumventing those bans and you are attacking weaknesses in the system, much like when they were snagging people's IP address from a bug in an API through an extension on Twitch. This could be a lot more common going forward. The next thing is that, as we know, and as has been stated by many creators, the most prolific one I can think of is H3H3 Productions, or Ethan, that, you know, there is preferential treatment. There are do not ban lists, so they do not get taken down through violations of a TOS. They have to be manually approved, manually looked at, and decided whether or not they're actually going to go forward with it, meaning that they do absolutely bend the rules for other creators. Some of the more prolific people that were on there was like Rice Gum was on there. There were a few like podcast shows that were on there, a few people who the reason why they were not banned has expired. So like I don't know if that means that if they do go to the ban that they don't have a reason to not get on the do not ban list, and also that some of these people that are on there would get forwarded to a Twitch email. The version that I saw had that Twitch email censored, and I believe that Twitch email is no longer active anymore. But yeah, people get preferential treatment. We all knew this, right? Creators have said that they do, that have left Twitch and come back, like H3. But now in this list, we very much see they have, here you go, people who get preferential treatment, people who do not get banned immediately and have to go through very explicit manual review from someone who is much higher in the branch, rather than the more lower tier moderators that ban people, which is disappointing. We all knew, right? But it just goes to show that, you know, Twitch continues their non-transparency on these issues, and they are inadequately applying the rules to people and taking people who do cross the line and don't punish them to people who probably don't cross the line and do punish them. And it's disappointing. I wish this was not a thing that happened on Twitch. I wish we were all kind of created and treated fairly, or I wish we were all treated fairly when it came to these, but that's simply not the case. However, one of the most interesting things on this, real quick, the audio got so bad in this next portion, I'm just going to cut it out and do a little spit right here. The next part I go over is talking about the anonymous feedback that was given, the dropping down of people leaving like actual text behind, and talking about the problems that they face on this platform. And the first one is going over how bad the analytics and insights and dashboard is on the platform. We have are just so bad. They don't go over age, they barely go over any different demographics. You have to really search for it, and some you might be like, oh well, some people come from this channel, and it's like, well, of course these people come from this channel. I've been hanging out in their channel for 2 years. Like, I already know that I'm a part of this community. It gives a lot of unuseful information. In fact, it gives such useless information that a lot of large creators, I can think of an example of Carnage, actually has a tool that he got created for himself to be able to dig up analytics and things for him, so that he could have a better representation of how his stuff is doing when he's growing. He still has this tool, I'm sure, but it was a huge help for him when he was growing, you know, those 7-8 years ago, back around the Arcade time. And as usual, one of the biggest problems facing creators, and it is not a thing that we're alone in, is that emotional drain on creators is huge. It's a huge toll. A lot of creators feel that they are alone, even though there is thousands, if not millions of streamers on the platform every day, but thousands of partners. There's not an easy way to reach out to those partners. And even if you have a few connections, while people say that they feel like they can reach out to people, when it actually came to like critique, a lot of people who feel like they can't. There was a lot of feedback to say, like, even though that these things exist, reaching out to another partner is still very difficult, or reaching out to another streamer is still very difficult, which sucks. To go through that emotional turmoil and have to deal with it every day, and there not to be a good release or people to talk to about this does suck. Being on the internet has absolutely negative impacts on your life, especially social media, and having to deal with trolls and bad actors on the internet. And not surprising, yeah, there's a lot of partners on the platform that are sexist. There were legitimately reviews left that people thought that cleavage girls, these streamers, however you want to reference them, are actually stealing their reviews and don't like them on the platform. Even other women, very clearly written from a women perspective and male perspective, that they feel that they're stealing their views or that they have to show their cleavage to grow. Now, I'm going to say something a little controversial here to people who feel this way. If you believe that viewers are being stolen from you because cleavage girls exist on the platform, or you believe that you are not growing because you don't show cleavage on the platform and you're a female, you're not growing, you're not getting your views stolen from you, your content simply isn't good. You really shouldn't blame others for your lack of success. You know, because these people who go over and watch these people are not your audience, and you should not blame Twitch for allowing them to exist. While Twitch is to blame to allow them to exist, it's not their fault that you don't get views because they exist, if you understand what I'm saying here. And I think it's a quite ridiculous notion to act that way. I know a lot of people want to subvert the blame in their own head to say, oh, I'm not growing because of X or Y or Z reason. The reason why you're not growing is not because of another person. The reason why you're not growing is from your own effort. There was a lot of criticism about favoritism as well, very clear, and as we saw from the ban list, it's very, very apparent that this exists. They also feel that there is almost no transparency, there's no support, there's no communication when people actually have problems. This is stuff that has been complained about, right? These anonymous articles have been, or anonymous responses have been posted in 2016 and going forward, and that people still feel that there is no support and communication from Twitch. And well, I think the reason for that is pretty obvious. It's because they don't want to realize, show their own favoritism, because if they were as transparent it would be even more obvious that they treat each and every creator differently from another creator, depending on their own personal feelings about them. A lot of creators do feel that viewbot is a huge issue, which is true. There is legal viewbotting, right? If anyone has ever watched, what's the creator? Feta Live? It's a creator, I forget their exact name, but they run a Wikipedia, a very large Wikipedia for covering every topic, and they've embedded their stream into it. So times like these, when New World is playing, they were getting like 10, 20, 100,000 viewers because people are going and reading their Wikipedia and it's counting them as a view. And that kind of, and people who embed their stuff and figure out how to embed their stuff on other websites, it causes them to boost up. And it's not wrong to necessarily do through TOS, but a lot of people are very upset that people who do this get boosted up while they are stuck, because there was no discoverability on the actual thing. There's no way for small streamers to get brought up, because all the big streamers are the ones who are promoted all the time through their own feedback. This is what the big complaints that partners have to deal with all the time, and that it is very difficult to grow when all they do is point at the big guy. And I understand, you know, right? There's advertisers make more than the big guys, so they want to see the big guys more because those are the people who get the sales. Unfortunately, the small guys don't do that. But it is unfortunate when you have things like YouTube having a massive platform that will funnel people into small, big, whatever, and whatever content that you're making. But Twitch doesn't have that, because Twitch in itself is not a video hosting website, right? They have VODs, right? But they don't have videos like YouTube does. They don't have like an area where you can go and watch someone make a video. It doesn't necessarily exist, at least not in the way that YouTube does. And because of that, YouTube is mostly, or Twitch is mostly, a self-contained platform, and there is a ceiling to Twitch that is much lower than the ceiling of YouTube. They also feel that there's not enough diverse background in Twitch, and I gotta have to agree with that. Like, it does seem like there is a consistency among Twitch staff and the creators that they promote, that there probably needs to be a little bit more diversity in the stuff that they do. One of the worst things, though, and I don't think that this will ever be fixed, unfortunately, Know the tools that Twitch gives and the things that they do, um, is that harassment and trolls and sexual harassment, all kinds, apparently is not only experienced, or not only seen, but also experienced by users at least once a month, almost all users. And it's really sad. There was a one on there that I read of one person that was being harassed. They got banned and they made multiple accounts for the entirety of their stream and for months after harassing them. And they were, each and every single one of them was banned and reported, and they would go and check back later to see if this person is still, their account still exists, and their accounts still exist. And while I don't think that we'll ever truly be able to get rid of these, it's a little ridiculous that these reports are just ignored, right? It should be very clear. There should be some kind of system that if an account is new, it's reported, it has some keywords in there, that it should just be removed. But I have a pretty sneaky suspicion that the reason why Twitch doesn't do that is because user creation looks good statistically wise, and they don't want to actually take that action, spend that extra time to do these things, which is really disappointing for Twitch, right? Supposedly the CEO is supposed to be stepping down or retiring at the beginning of next year, I believe. This is a rumor that I heard. I don't know if there's actually factual basis behind this, but we have all these issues that still exist today. We have all this stuff being leaked now. What's gonna happen, right? What really is gonna happen? Because this is the man who's stepping down is the man that says hold us accountable, yet we're not able to actually hold you accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable. Your staff has to hold you. The users can't actually hold you accountable unless every single user stops using your platform. I think this is a really big wake-up call for Twitch, especially as YouTube brings over lots of large streamers to their streaming service and have been making change and significant improvements going forward. That if they don't start stepping up their game, they're going to start losing a very large market share of the live streaming, the whole live streaming area. They're going to start losing chunks in that. That's going to be really bad.